Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys She-Spawn figure, which is part of his new Spawn line of figures, which we still don't have a Spawn for, by the way. There was that Kickstarter one, but that's not really part of this. And the Spawn that is part of this isn't out yet and is missing his cape, so we'll see how this goes. But so far, we're just filling in all of the slots besides Spawn, which is kind of interesting, but so far the figures have been kind of cool, so I don't know, it's a weird thing, but I'm kind of into it, so we'll see how it goes. But this figure is pretty cool, does a lot of things really well, some things not so much, but there's some stuff to talk about, so let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about 18.5 centimeters, which is going to make it pretty close to, let's say, 7¼ inches. That should be a close enough measurement, and it's a really good looking figure. But first we have to do a question of the day. For those of you who are into Spawn and collecting these new figures, are you going to get all of them? Are you only going to get Spawn and maybe a villain? What are you, like, I don't know, the clown or the big monster guy, or what are you guys into? I'm just going to grab the ones I think look cool and I think I want to review, and just going to go from there, because I'm not that into Spawn other than the character himself. Okay, so let's talk about this. From an aesthetic perspective, it's very eye-catching. They did a really good job making it have some shelf appeal. There's not a ton of paint on it, but it is very well applied where it is, and it is applied in appropriate places. The white part here on the boot looks very good, same thing down here. That makes it pop very nicely. Same thing with the white on the chest or abdomen. It's very clean. They did do some dry brushing on the metal down here, on the chain. We have the studs painted, a little bit of paintwork around the boots, chains up here. We're missing some paint, but mostly the studs are painted. There's some gunmetal there. The ammo belt right there is painted. Like, everything that needs to be painted is, and some things that don't need to be painted are as well, and it is all very nicely done. The hair is covered in paint. It's basically dry brushed a lighter orange on top of the red hair, the orange color, and that's very nicely sculpted. It's very Spawn-esque, very over the top. She's got like 1,000 feet of hair here, and it's very well sculpted, very well painted. And then the face, really, really well painted. The lipstick could be painted or placed more accurately, but you get that black shading around the green eyes to make it pop. The white is very clean. The transition from red to skin color is very clean. Very, very nicely executed, this figure. And the sculpt, it actually does look like a female. We don't see that too often in female figures anymore. She has the appropriate, like, silhouette. The appropriate places are curvy. The appropriate places are shaped like body parts. She's not just a tube person. It's pretty well executed overall. The thing that's standing out to me as a problem right now is that this knee is a weird color compared to the rest of the leg. That's not that big of a deal. That's just the one thing that I'm noting. So I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10 for the aesthetic. They did a really good job. It's not shiny. It's nice. It's really, really well done. Now, as far as accessories go, we do have this giant axe thing, which is pretty cool. We have this sword with the knuckle duster on there. That's not what that's called, knuckle guard. And that's pretty nicely done. We have a giant sniper rifle type gun, which is really cool looking, except they put the scope on the right side of the gun. Like if you're a lefty, and she can't put it on that side of her body because of her hair, so she can't use that gun effectively. We get this one that looks kind of like a regular type AR type of gun. Whoever made these accessories, I don't think they know much about guns, because the magazine wouldn't work the way it is, the second one anyway, and the scopes are weird, and there's optics lined up with not optics, and it's just kind of weird, but you do get a crazy ass gun. And then we get the super crazy ass gun with a metal chain wrapped around it, and there are triggers and grips everywhere and little pistols strapped to the back, and it just makes no sense. Toward the hilt there, or toward the stock there, the back of the stock, there are actually two triggers in line with each other, two grips in line with each other. None of it makes any sense. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but it is Spawn, so I guess it's okay. We do get one alternate hand, so we have the two trigger finger hands that come out in the package, one secondary hand, and then lastly we get the best accessory of all, a little display stand, which for her it's kind of helpful, but she can stand without it, so that's okay. A lot of accessories, they're kind of nonsensical, but since it's Spawn, I guess that's fine. I do wish they were more practical, just in the like it's gonna look goofy on a shelf sort of sense, but I'll give it an 8 out of 10. That's pretty good. I would prefer more hands, I think, like at least a couple of fist hands would be cool, but it's not bad, so it gets a pretty good rating. Now, as far as the articulation goes, they did a pretty good job. Let's see how it actually works though. The hair is big and heavy, so you're gonna have to worry about that, but it is fairly flexible, so it's not gonna be like totally in the way. You can rotate the head around, and it should be enough. She can look up, she can look down. It's a double ball peg. You get good range out of it. It's fine. The hair's not too heavy for the ball peg, so that's good. For this shoulder, it goes up to horizontal, no problem at all. It's just your standard ball hinge. Full rotation, slight angle because of the jacket, but that's okay. You get a traditional bicep swivel, that's good. Double jointed elbow works nicely. You can get even more range than that, but that's already plenty. So that's really good. And then the wrist is on a big hinge. It's a swivel and a hinge. Really oversized hinge. I don't know why they did that. Look at that. That's the hinge. Sticking through the palm. That's very strange. As she can hold the guns, but the hand plastic is fairly stiff, so just you might want to heat it up a little bit, but she can do it. For this shoulder, the skull is a separate piece connected to the biceps, so it works fine. It works just like the other shoulder. The skull's going to get in the way a little bit, but it mushes, so that's okay. No issues there. The arm's the same otherwise. Torso's on a double ball peg, and then a single ball peg at the lower torso. And we still get very little range out of the torso. It can lean side to side pretty well. That's good. That's on that top joint and the bottom joint. In conjunction, they work nicely together. Going forward and back, she leans back okay. That's not bad. The sculpt is continued throughout, so that's good, and paint. Leaning forward, she does lean some. It's mostly out of the bottom joint though, not the top, which is weird because the top one's easier to do. So she still has weird articulation problems that the McFarlane company just doesn't seem to want to fix. I don't know what's up with that. For the hips, we have the same hips we've been seeing in the DC Multiverse line, so they have a hinge going out to the side, and she can get out there pretty far. Her diaper will stretch, and it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem, so that's okay. That's almost splits, so that's fine with me. Bringing the leg forward, the diaper does flex. You can't get them quite all the way out to the front, but far enough. I think that's all right. Going back, you can do it. Her butt cheeks will stretch. Yeah, they did a pretty good job with this diaper. Usually the diapers are too big. We'll talk about that with the Gorilla. But the diaper's all right on this one. You do get a little bit of a thigh swivel, though not much. Double jointed knees work really well. No problem there. And then for the ankles, they're kind of hidden in here. It looks like it's just ball hinges. So yeah, ball hinges in there. They're a little too ratchety for me. That makes it very difficult for her to stand because you have very specific spots where her feet will go. But they do work nicely for ankle rockers, and you can get it adjusted. And the toe hinge is well placed, so I'm happy with it. Could be a little stiffer, but it's good. And she can stand without the stand. It's just a little tricky to balance, but it can happen. So ultimately, her articulation's pretty good. It's better than most of the DC figures. It's still lacking in some areas, but it's not bad. I'll give it a 9. No. Yeah, I'll give it a 9. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The torso could be better, but otherwise it's pretty much what I want to see on a figure like this. So yeah, this is one of the best releases the McFarlane Toys Company has put out in recent history. So I'm very pleased with it. I'm curious what you guys think. You can let me know in the comment section below, but I'm going to give it a final verdict of 9 out of 10. I was going to go 9.5, but the torso is still messed up and the accessories, they just don't make sense. I get having big crazy guns, but the way these are designed, they actually don't make sense. They can't work, so that bothers me. If you don't care, then you don't care, and that's fine, but that is a good rating. It's a good figure. I'm happy to have it. I think you guys will be too. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.